How's it going, bro? AJ, what's going on, AJ? We out here talking to Jose, it was Christina, right? Christina. Jose and Christina, we out here showing them who we are according to the Bible and how we know. So what we just read is God said if the black, Hispanic, and Native Americans didn't listen to his voice, curses was going to come upon them. Is a curse a good thing or a bad thing, AJ? A bad thing, right? So God said if we didn't listen, these bad things were going to happen. We're going to read some of the bad things that were going to happen. Read this.
48.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemy, which the Lord shall send against thee. So God said if we broke his commandments, we were going to serve our enemies that he sent against us. Right? So an enemy is the adversary, right? So we're going to have to serve our enemy. Now let's get to figure out who the enemy is. Read. Which the Lord shall send against thee, and hunger. Whenever you get hungry, AJ, where you get your food from whenever you get hungry? Wherever. Well, if you go buy it, who you going to buy it from? You go to the store, who owns the store? Who owns it? The white people, right? Who controls who gets food in China? And who food can come over here? Is it our people? It's the white people, but God said we're going to serve who? He said if we didn't keep his commandment, he's going to make us serve who? Our enemies, right? Enemies, right? So he said you're going to serve your enemies in hunger, read, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst. When the rain falls out of the sky for free, right? But if you get a bottle of water, who do you pay for it? Who? The store. Who owns the stores again? You got to take Coke. Who owns that Coke? Who owns Coca-Cola?
White people.
White people. So whenever we want to take a shower, you turn on your water, you take a shower. Who you paying a water bill to? Who owns oil P&L? Right. But God said you're going to serve who?
White people.
He said you're going to serve who? What did he call them? Your enemies, right?
That's right.
Read. And in nakedness. Whenever you want new clothes, who owns the clothing stores? Who owns the raw textiles? All them years, I'm pretty sure your folks did, my folks did too. All them years you pick cotton in them fields. You don't control where one piece of cotton goes, one shred. Who controls where the cotton goes? Who determines how much you got paid for that cotton? The same place, but what did God call them? So what we are to do is show our people, we got enemies in the Bible. And we got to move right to it. And God sent them against us for not listening. Read. And in nakedness, and in want of all things. In want of all things. If you want an apartment complex, who you go to? If you want a car, if you want insurance, a birth certificate, death certificate, a driver's license, a fishing license, who you got to go to get that from, AJ?
White people.
Who you got to go to? You agree? But what did God call them? Enemies, right? So what God is letting us know, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we got enemies. And he sent them against us for not listening, right? Finish that. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. It says that enemy is going to put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. Pick that up for me right there. I'm going to pick this one up, right? So he said the enemy is going to put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. Who put the yokes of iron upon whose neck? I got you. It wasn't just black people who had chains upon their neck. Check this out. It wasn't just black people. The so-called Mexicans had chains on their neck. The so-called Indians had chains on their neck. And God said the enemy was going to put chains on your neck. Because God is talking to Israel. Moses is talking to Israel right here. And so what we're showing is God said that the Israelites' enemies were going to put chains upon their neck. Our enemies put chains upon our neck. So who had the chains put on their neck? The Israelites. Right. So if the Israelites got the chains put on their neck and we got the chains put on our neck, who are we? We the Israelites. That's right. That's what we show with the Bible. The scriptures say these are the things that were going to happen to the children of Israel for not listening to God. And it happened to us, letting us know we are the Israelites. But you remember somebody over there who in the synagogue of Satan calling themselves the Jews. But what we here to show you is you are the Jews. AJ, you are the Jews. So now that we are the Jews, we have to keep the commandments of God. That's why we got in trouble. That's how we're going to get out of trouble, by keeping these commandments, right? Anybody got any questions before we go further? Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. If someone tells you to watch a show called Exploitation, I have a
Right.
And some lady came to big our friend first. And I came up to, to say hi to her because that's the kind of person I am.
Right.
Say hi to me. Well, she told me, oh, go look up him lady. It's on TV. And she defended me so bad. I had her to call my aunt the other day, tell her what happened. She got in trouble because she did not get fired.
Right.
And it's like, I'm the kind of person, yes, I have a skin disease, I have Down syndrome. We both have Down syndrome. And every time we go out, people look at me weird.
Right.
And like, look at her, we might catch it. It's not catch it. My mom had it.
Right.
My brother had it inside him.
It's hereditary.
Yes.
Right.
He died from it. My mom died from it. And I am the only one in my family. My sister do not have it.
Right.
And the doctors can't do nothing about it because.
Give me 1 Corinthians 15.
So it's just that every time we go out, it's like I don't want to go out no more.
Right. And that's the thing about it, man. This world that we live in, the Most High God has put us in a situation, why? To humble us. 15. But this is the gospel. That's why it's important to know that you are an Israelite. Even though you have a skin condition in this world right now, the importance of knowing that you're an Israelite is because there is a promise for you beyond this world. There's a promise for you beyond death. And that's what we got to teach our people. But in order to get it, you got to keep God's commandments. You got to come back to keeping these laws.
It works with the law.
Right. But we ain't worried about. That's the thing. We can't get too caught up in the things of this world. We're gonna get into our feelings about things, of course.
And I cussed her out. I said, nah.
But you don't want to do nothing to lose your job. You gotta be careful with that too. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to lose it.
She needs to.
But you don't need to lose your job, I'm saying. Or you don't need to put yourself in a bad situation. But let me show you the good news about being an Israelite and knowing you're Israel. Get 15 and 53. Read that. The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 53. For this corruptible must put on incorruption. So he said this corruptible, the bodies we live in now are corruptible bodies. These are going to die. These are going to go back, dust to ashes, dust to dust. But he said when Christ come back, this corruptible body is going to put on incorruptible. We're going to be immortal. You're not going to have to worry about skin diseases. You're not going to have to worry about Down syndrome if you get back to keeping God's commandments. Because the reason these things happen to us, because we went away from God's commandments, and so that's how diseases and things got introduced. But by keeping God's commandments, he said, what's going to happen? And this mortal must put on immortality. He said this mortal body is going to put on immortality. It's going to live forever. You ain't got to worry about diseases. You ain't got to worry about Down syndrome. You ain't got to worry about sickness. That's what's going to come from keeping God's commandments. If you get the kingdom of heaven, keeping God's commandments. But if you continue in sin, you will suffer here and you're going to suffer in the life to come.
Yeah, but she came to our house yesterday and tried to apologize, but she really didn't mean it.
Right, but that's the thing. We can't say whether somebody mean it. What you got to realize is you got to let stuff roll off your back. Hey, people going to say stuff because they got evil in them. You got to just be righteous. Like, you think people don't say stuff about me? You think people don't say stuff about my brother around here? But we know. We don't worry about that because we know the kingdom is for us. By keeping these commandments, I'm going to get the kingdom. It don't matter what nobody say about me. It don't matter what disease or condition somebody talks to me about. God said if I keep these commandments, I'm going to be immortal. So you can't let this mortal earth, this fleshly world get in you. That's why you got to get in the scriptures and get in the spirit of the Most High. Then you operate on a spiritual plane to where when people say carnal things to you, won't even affect you. Because you know you got immortality coming. And that's what we got to get forward to. That's the importance of understanding that you are an Israelite. That's the importance of keeping God's commandments so that those curses like skin conditions and all that type of thing will be taken off of us. Because like I said, that kind of give me Deuteronomy 28 verse 61. These are the things that happen to us. These conditions that we have all come from not keeping the commandments. Watch, read. Book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 61. Also, every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, because a lot of sicknesses that are going on today are not written in this book of this law. It's not written in the Bible, but God said every sickness and every plague that's not written, read, them will the Lord bring upon thee
until thou be destroyed.
He said God gonna put these curses on us for breaking his commandments until we be destroyed. How we get out of these curses? If God put these curses on us for breaking his commandments, how do you think we get out of the curses? What do you think, AJ? If God put these curses on us for breaking his commandments, how do you think we get out of under these curses?
Listen.
And keep the commandments, right? So these scriptures, like these diseases and stuff, read 61 again for me.
Verse 61, also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed.
So them sicknesses got on us for not keeping God's laws.
Right.
But by keeping these laws, that's how we gonna get the immortal body. You ain't gotta worry about sickness no more.
Right.
So even in your skin disease and your Down syndrome, you still gotta keep God's commandments, and that's how you're gonna get saved from that. That's how you're gonna get incorruption. And you ain't gonna have to worry about those type of things no more.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.